Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Washington quarters, their iconic design, hidden stories, and secret treasures. We're exploring the most valuable, expensive, and ultra-rare Washington quarters ever found in the United States of America. In this video, we'll focus on some extraordinary coins, 1978, no mint mark, 1984p, and 1990p. Each of these quarters carries a shocking history. Made from copper-nickel clad composition, with the classic Washington head design, these coins may look dull, ordinary, and circulated, but to collectors and investors, they are priceless. The silver-gray color and worn condition hide stories of decades passed through countless hands, jars, drawers, and forgotten pockets. What makes these quarters fascinating is that they appear ordinary, yet some could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars today. A seemingly common quarter could hide the kind of value that changes lives overnight. That's why, before you spend that old coin, stick around, you might be holding a fortune in your hands. First up, coin number 1. Most valuable and expensive Washington quarter worth value coin United States of America, 1978, no mint mark. At first glance, this coin appears ordinary. Its dull silver-gray surface, worn edges, and years of circulation give the impression of a simple, forgotten quarter. Many people have held it in their hands, dropped it into jars, or spent it without a second thought. And yet, history has a way of hiding extraordinary value in the most unassuming places. The 1978 Washington quarter is one of those quiet treasures, silently waiting for the right eyes to recognize its potential. The year 1978 may not stand out in the history books, but for coins, it is significant. The United States was in a period of steady change. Everyday money passed through countless hands, leaving traces of life on each coin. The Washington quarter, with its iconic portrait of George Washington and classic reverse design, was a fixture in pockets and cash registers alike. Its copper-nickel clad composition made it durable, yet it carried subtle imperfections from the mint that collectors today prize above all else. What makes this coin fascinating is not just age, but survival. Copper-nickel reacts with air and touch over decades, slowly changing color and texture. A coin that looks dull or worn today is actually alive with history, marks of decades of transactions, scratches from pockets, and subtle discoloration that tells a story no ledger ever could. Each small imperfection may seem minor, but to collectors, it can indicate authenticity, rarity, and potential value. Collectors are drawn not just to the metal, but to the story. This 1978 quarter may have passed through tens of thousands of hands, yet the right one, preserved in a particular condition or carrying an unnoticed die variation, can suddenly be worth thousands, sometimes even millions. It is the hidden potential that fascinates investors, the thought that a single coin, overlooked by most, could be life-changing. That is why awareness matters. The coin's value is invisible until someone stops, examines, and understands. Condition is deceptive. Many people see a worn coin and dismiss it. But circulation does not always erase value. In some cases, it enhances it, leaving behind unique patterns of wear or small minting anomalies. The dull surface, the soft edges, even the scratches can make a coin stand out in ways that are not immediately visible. This is why collectors approach coins like this with patience, knowledge, and respect, because the extraordinary often hides behind the ordinary. The psychological allure of a coin like this cannot be overstated. It represents possibility. It represents luck. It represents a reminder that sometimes, the smallest, most overlooked items can carry immense potential. Every jar of old coins, every forgotten drawer, every moment spent tossing coins aside could conceal a fortune. And yet, the opportunity only reveals itself to those willing to notice, to study, and to understand. The 1978 Washington quarter also teaches a lesson about timing and perspective. Value is not always apparent in the moment. What seems insignificant today may be priceless tomorrow. Many quarters from this era remain common, but a few, carefully preserved or bearing rare features, have emerged as treasures in private collections. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often subtle, yet it is life-changing. This coin does not promise instant wealth. That would be a mistake. What it does offer is awareness, the understanding that history, scarcity, and story converge in objects we pass by every day. One moment of attention, one choice to hold rather than spend, can make all the difference. Many collectors have learned this the hard way, discovering too late the coins they once owned were worth far more than they imagined. In today's world, rushing decisions is easy. People spend, discard, or ignore without second thought. The 1978 Washington quarter stands as a reminder that fortune can be quiet, patient, and invisible. The right coin, in the right hands, at the right time, has the power to change lives. Not every quarter is extraordinary, but every extraordinary quarter was once ignored. So before you spend that old coin, before you treat it like a simple quarter, remember its story. Remember the decades it survived, the hands it passed through, and the subtle imperfections that could hide astonishing value. In this coin lies not just metal, but history, possibility, and the quiet promise of fortune waiting for someone who chooses to see it. This is more than a quarter. It is history. It is potential. And in the right moment, it can change everything. Most valuable and expensive Washington quarter worth value coin, United States of America, 1984, P. Mint mark. At first glance, this coin looks unremarkable. Its dull silver-gray surface and worn edges suggest years of ordinary circulation, passing unnoticed from pocket to pocket, hand to hand, cash register to cash register. Yet the 1984 P. Washington quarter hides a story few people ever consider, a story of history, survival, and potential fortune. What seems ordinary could be extraordinary, and in the world of coin collecting, appearances can be deceiving. The year 1984 was a time of transition in America. Life was moving fast, economies were shifting, and everyday money changed hands constantly. The Washington quarter was a staple of this movement, struck at the Philadelphia Mint with care but not attention to uniqueness. Most quarters from this year were spent and forgotten, blending into jars, drawers, and collections unnoticed. Yet among these millions of coins, a few quietly developed the traits that make them priceless today. What makes the 1984 P. Washington quarter so fascinating is its survival. Coins, especially copper-nickel clad, change over time. Air, moisture, and touch leave marks. The once bright silver slowly dulls, scratches form, and subtle shifts in tone emerge. To the casual observer, these are imperfections. To collectors, they are the fingerprints of history, evidence that the coin lived through decades, and in some cases, proof of unique minting characteristics that can turn a simple quarter into a coveted treasure. The design itself tells a story. George Washington's portrait is not just a face, it is a symbol of endurance, leadership, and a nation's identity. The reverse, with its eagle in flight, represents strength, resilience, and freedom. The 1984 P quarter carries these designs not just as metal, but as history pressed into copper-nickel. Every scratch, every shade, every worn edge contributes to its narrative. A coin is not just currency, it is a vessel of decades, connecting past and present. Collectors and investors are drawn to coins like this because of the stories hidden beneath the surface. The 1984 P quarter may appear common, but subtle variations, minting anomalies, or rare high-grade examples are worth far more than face value. This is where fascination meets potential. A coin that seems worthless in your pocket could secretly hold thousands, even millions, in today's collector's market. The power lies in rarity, history, and careful preservation. Condition is deceptive. A quarter that looks worn or dirty may hold details invisible to the untrained eye. Die errors, unusual strikes, and slight differences in composition can create immense value. Many coins sold as ordinary pennies or quarters later shocked their owners when inspected closely by professionals. That is the magic of coin collecting. The line between ordinary and extraordinary is often invisible until examined with knowledge and care. There is also the psychological allure of a coin like this. It is the dream that something overlooked, something ignored, could transform a life. The 1984 P. Washington quarter embodies hope, possibility, and curiosity. Every jar of old coins, every forgotten drawer, and every coin tossed into circulation carries potential. The difference between fortune and loss often lies in attention, awareness, and patience. Timing and perspective are crucial. Value is not always apparent immediately. Many 1984 P quarters remain common, but a few, preserved in particular conditions or showing rare characteristics, have emerged as prized collectibles. The market rewards those who notice subtle details, those who study, and those who understand history. To act without knowledge is to risk missing opportunity. To act with awareness is to unlock it. This coin does not promise instant wealth, but it offers potential, awareness, and a story waiting to be recognized. The 1984 P Washington quarter reminds us that fortune can be quiet, patient, and invisible, waiting for someone to pause and see it. Every worn edge, every dull surface, every subtle variation carries decades of history, and in the right hands, it can change a life. So before you spend that old quarter, remember the 1984 P Washington quarter's story. Remember that what seems ordinary may hide extraordinary value. History, survival, and potential fortune converge in this small, seemingly simple coin. It is not just metal. It is more than currency. It is opportunity, waiting for someone who chooses to recognize it. This is more than a quarter. It is history. It is patience. It is potential. And in the right hands, it can change everything. Most valuable and expensive Washington quarter worth value coin United States of America, 1990, P mint mark. At first glance, this coin appears ordinary. Its dull silver-gray surface and worn edges make it seem like just another quarter, lost among countless others in pockets, jars, and drawers. Yet, the 1990 P Washington quarter carries a story that few truly understand, a story of history, craftsmanship, survival, and hidden value. What seems ordinary could hold extraordinary fortune, waiting quietly for someone to notice. The year 1990 was a time of transition and growth in America. Everyday money circulated rapidly, changing hands without attention. The Washington quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, was a common fixture in commerce, designed for use, not for display. Yet among the millions of quarters released that year, a small number carry subtle characteristics and history that make them highly sought after by collectors and investors alike. The difference between a typical quarter and one worth a fortune often lies in details invisible to the untrained eye. This coin's composition, copper-nickel clad, has helped it survive decades of circulation while recording traces of its journey. Each scratch, slight discoloration, and worn edge tells a story of countless transactions, pockets, and drawers. To the casual observer, these marks seem like imperfections. To a collector, they are proof of authenticity, history, and character, small signs that a coin may be worth far more than its face value suggests. The Washington quarter's design itself carries weight. George Washington's portrait symbolizes endurance and leadership, a silent witness to the nation's growth. The reverse eagle represents strength, resilience, and freedom. On a 1990 P quarter, these designs have weathered decades, softened by circulation yet retaining subtle hints of original minting. Every detail, every mark, every shade contributes to its narrative. A coin is more than currency, it is a vessel of decades of human activity. Collectors and investors are drawn to coins like this because of their hidden potential. The 1990 P Washington quarter may appear common, yet certain examples, preserved in higher grade condition or showing subtle minting anomalies, have sold for thousands of dollars. The fascination lies in the unexpected. A coin passed over for decades suddenly becomes priceless. That is why awareness and knowledge are vital. A penny or quarter that seems ordinary could secretly carry life-changing value. Condition is deceptive. Circulated coins often hide characteristics that make them extremely valuable. Minor variations in strike, die errors, or unusual surface patterns can turn an ordinary-looking quarter into a collector's dream. Many coins discarded or overlooked in the past have been discovered decades later, shocking their owners with their hidden worth. This is the silent magic of coin collecting. Fortune lies where most fail to look carefully. The psychological appeal of coins like this is immense. They embody hope, curiosity, and possibility. Every jar of old coins, every forgotten drawer, and every pocket change carries a chance at discovery. The 1990 P Washington quarter is a reminder that ordinary items can carry extraordinary potential if approached with patience, knowledge, and awareness. What seems mundane could transform a life with a single discovery. Timing and perspective are crucial. Value is rarely apparent immediately. While many 1990 P quarters remain ordinary, rare variations in carefully preserved examples have emerged as highly sought collectibles. Market demand rewards those who notice subtle differences and understand the historical significance of each coin. Acting without knowledge risks missing opportunity. while acting with understanding can unlock incredible potential. This coin does not promise instant wealth, but it offers awareness and the potential to change fortunes quietly and patiently. The 1990p Washington quarter teaches that history and scarcity often hide in plain sight. Fortune may arrive silently, waiting for someone to recognize it. Every worn edge, every dull surface, every subtle variation is proof of decades of circulation, and in the right hands, it can be transformative. So before you spend that old quarter, pause. Reflect on the story of the 1990p Washington quarter. Understand that what appears ordinary may hide extraordinary value. History, survival, and potential fortune converge in this small piece of metal, ready to reward those who notice. This is not just a quarter. It is a vessel of history, a symbol of patience, and a quiet opportunity. And in the right hands, it can change everything.